Okay, can I have my slide up on the screen? Thank you. So good morning, everyone. And welcome to today's Bodhi Day service in conjunction with the Shotsuki monthly memorial service. And today, the chanting was Shoshinge Gyofu style, which is one of the beautiful melody style of Shoshinge. When I was growing up, this was my favorite chanting, Gyofu style. And also Amida Kyo, Amida Sutra, that's a little bit faster, like, hitting the, Bussetu Amida Kyo, Nyoze ga Monichi Buddhaisha, Eiko Giju Kikko Dokon, that was my favorite because it was like a twisted tongue, right? So if I do it without mistake, I felt like, oh, I'm grown up. And I feel like, that was really something when I was growing up. And I tended to chant really loud from the gejin, the area you are sitting. In Japan, we only have tatami mat, right? So no pews. So we sit on the tatami mat, and I was like, ga gon jazeng. So I was really loud. So my father was probably, I don't know if he felt proud of me or annoying, but yeah. When I went to Nishihonganji, I did the same thing, Nishihonganji, you hear the beautiful chanting of Shoshinge by ministers, all the ministers who knew how to chant, who have like a license to teach chanting. But I was like, Kimyo Muryo, so I was really loud. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the chanting of Gyofu style. And it will be nice to hear you chanting Gyofu style. It's nice to hear somebody chanting from, that side, and mixing together the sound of the voicing. So that's really nice. So please chant loud, and if you are able. Okay. So Bodhi Day is the day of Prince Gautama Siddhartha attained enlightenment and became Buddha. And the Buddha means the awakened one. So this day could be called the day of enlightenment, of the day of awakening. And according to the story, Prince Siddhartha attained enlightenment on December 8. December 8, which is today, right? So last time December 8 was on the Sunday. December 8th was 2019, 5 years ago. And next time December 8 is going to be on Sunday. Do you know what year it is? 2030. I'll be 50 years old. How old are you going to be? So it's really rare to observe a Bodhi Day on Sunday, that is December 8th, right? Yeah, 6 years. So many times we hear that the basic teaching of Buddhism is the Four Noble Truths, right? Four Noble Truths. And I was wondering, what is the easier way to understand the Four Noble Truths or explain Four Noble Truths in easier way? So Buddha's teaching is often expressed with the concept of prescribing medicine according to the illness. Prescribing medicine according to the illness. So, for instance, let's say we caught a cold, coughing. Actually, I feel like something is here today, but hopefully it's not the virus or anything. But when we catch a cold, we start coughing, high fever, not feeling good, and throat hurt, or want to eat something or drink something. So it feels terrible, right? Then, what is the reason of catching cold? Or what causes the cold? That is, yes, virus, right? So there could be multiple reasons why we catch cold, but ultimately, the cause of cold is virus. And Virus causes the symptom of the cold, like coughing, high fever, and so on, right? Then, when you feel sick, what do you think? Do you think it's lucky that you don't have to go to school? You can skip school? Or you don't have to come to church on Sunday? So I hope not you are feeling that way. But when we are sick, we want to be healthy again, to play with friends and enjoy eating food and drinks. So to be healthy again, we need to follow the recovery plan from the doctor. So this is actually what the Four Noble Truths is expressing. We often feel dissatisfaction by doing something we don't want to do, not getting what we want to get, but that's because of the virus or the three poisons of anger, greed, and stupidity or ignorance. Well, we can simply say that this is coming from our self-centered mind, like, why I have to do this? Why I have to do this? I don't want to do this. My friends have this, but I don't have this. So this kind of minds leads us to feel terrible, irritated, and impatient. So when we are feeling irritated, people around us start to be irritated. So one's irritation causes a lot of irritation in the world. So to be the healthy state of mind, the Buddha is recommending us to walk the path of Buddhism and find the peace of mind of ourselves first. And then, our peaceful state affects people. So this would be a little bit too much for Dharma school students, but Buddhism is the teaching to see the cause from the result. Cause from the result. I don't know if this makes sense or not, but this means that we assess our situation by observing what is the cause of this emotion, this state of mind, and adjust it through the guidance of the Buddha. So this is what Buddhism is about. So Four Noble Truths is actually really important concept in Buddhism. So, I prepared a little bit of a child or Dharma talk, a Dharma school talk today, and I usually close Dharma school talk with Gassho Nembutsu, but today we don't have so many kids today. So let's continue to directly have an adult talk from here. But Shakyamuni Buddha could be considered the home doctor. Home doctor. We go to home doctor, when something is wrong with us, right? And then home doctor prescribe medicine or recommend another special doctor for us to get better. So Shakyamuni Buddha is the home doctor, and then Amida Buddha is the medicine or special doctor for us. So in the Four Noble Truths, recovery plan is expressed as Eightfold Path. And I was going to ask you what Eightfold Path is, but you already see it. But Eightfold Path are a right view, right thought, right speech, right conduct, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right meditation. Right? These are the Eightfold Noble Path. There are, variation of the translation, but basically talking about the same thing. Then, what is right means? Right. What is right? So, if we are acting as morally right, then it doesn't need to be the teaching of the Buddha. It doesn't need to be the teaching of the Buddha. If we are just acting morally good, then it could be morals, and it doesn't have to be Buddhism. if we are acting what I think as right, then that's not Buddhism either. So what right means in terms of the Eightfold Path is that the path which go along with the enlightenment. Go along with the enlightenment. This is what right means in the Eightfold Noble Path. So, right view, for instance, right view, the view which go along with enlightenment is the right view. And there could be multiple right view in Buddhism because there are various symptoms of illness, right? Because there are countless situations in people's lives, there are multiple right view within Buddhism. So for those who could abandon worldly possessions and worldly lives to enter the monkshood, and then to practice, really hard, then the right view could be the view to see oneself capable of attaining enlightenment through self-effort. So, and all the other path follows this view that one's capable of attaining enlightenment through one's own effort. But for those who are not able to abandon the worldly desires, attachments, and worldly lives, the right view could be the view to see oneself incapable of attaining enlightenment through self-diligence or self-effort because of the afflictions such as greed, anger, and ignorance. And again, the other seven paths follows this view to see that one is incapable of attaining enlightenment through self-effort. And do you remember the name of our tradition? Jodo Shinshu. Now, Metta Padma classes students, everybody knows. Of course, we always ask, what is the name of our tradition? And they say, Jodo Shinshu. Who's the founder? Shinran Shongin. Right? So that's good. But anyway, our tradition, Jodo Shinshu, is the latter. We see ourselves incapable of attaining enlightenment through our own effort, self-effort, because of afflictions, the afflictions we hold. So by realizing or acknowledging one's incapability of abandoning the worldly desires and lives, we realize that we need to rely on the working of Amida Buddha through the guidance of Shakyamuni Buddha. So our founder, Shinran Shongin, said, when I consider deeply the vow of Amida, which arose from 5 kalpas of profound thought, I realize that it was entirely for the sake of myself alone. Then how I am filled with gratitude for the primal vow, in which Amida resolved to save me, though I am burdened with such heavy karma. So a few days ago, I started to revisit and re-record what I have recorded during pandemic. And then, can you believe that the pandemic started like almost 5 years ago? Almost 5 years. 5 years is a long time, right? I was still in 30s. My children were really small, right? And first, it was so scary, right? Because the death rate was so high. We didn't know what to do. So we just stayed home, do nothing. So I started to feel, oh, maybe I need to do something. So I started to do online services every morning. That's when I started the online services. And then, first I was just talking about how I am doing today, and I was saying like, oh, I hope you are feeling good and you are not, getting COVID or something. But then after a few weeks, I started to think that, oh, maybe this is a good time to study something together. So I started to read letters of Rengyo Shonin and Jodo-wa-san, Koso-wa-san, Shozo-matsu-wa-san, and writings of Shinran Shonin. So I spent almost 4 or 5 years just to read Shinran Shonin's writings one by one and put it online. But after years or so, right, 2020 or 2021, vaccine for COVID-19 came out, and then virus started to be weaker, and now we are able to meet again in person just like today, right? So pandemic of COVID-19 is the only experience in my life, so experience of pandemic in my life. So it might not be a perfect example to share, but there are some illness which are no longer threat of the world because of the vaccines or medicines. So our condition is the same to this example. We possess afflictions. 3 poisons. But it no longer be obstacle for us to attain enlightenment because of the working of Namo Amida Butsu. So then, thinking that, now I have medicine, so I can do whatever I want to do, right? Is this a right thought? Is this a right thought? It's not right, right? Instead, we think, as Shinran Shonin said, self-reflect our condition, be humble, and appreciate the working of Amida Buddha. So I'm not sure if you remember what I have said at the PEP Memorial Service a few weeks ago, but Jodo Shinshu is the teaching which focuses to realize that we are the recipients of the working instead of becoming the giver. So we are the recipients of the working. So once we begin to realize that we are the recipients of the working, we also realize how much we have received from the others, and we start to focus on working for the others in return. So in Jodo Shinshu Creed, written by the ex-head priest of our tradition, Reverend Koshin Otani, he said, appreciating the Buddha Dharma, I shall respect and help others, working for the good of society. So this is a kind of the person, the teaching of Nembutsu nurtures. And because of the tremendous efforts and sacrifices of our predecessors, Jodo Shinshu is still alive in 21st century Sacramento, California. So we saw a lot of names on the slide during the sutra chanting of Shoshinge today. Our debt of gratitude we owe to those who have passed away before us to sustain this Buddhist Church of Sacramento cannot be fully repaid, but this is my hope that we maintain this Sacramento Betsuin, grow the Sangha, and most importantly, we live with Jodo Shinshu way of right view, followed by all other paths, and simply saying we live the life of Nembutsu, which are the teaching of Shakyamuni Buddha to Shinran Shonin and to our predecessors. So I try to stay in line with the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Noble Path from the viewpoint of Jodo Shinshu. But my talk always go here and there anyway. But I hope today's talk was somehow helpful to deepen the understanding of Jodo Shinshu. So please join me in Gassho. Please put your palms together. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.